Hey, what is going on, guys? This is SMEB Reviews, and it's time to take a look at Alice Cooper's new album, Paranormal. Let's get to it. So with Paranormal, Alice Cooper was not trying to gain a new audience. He was not trying to bring new people in. He said he's writing this album in hopes to give something to those people who are fans of him already. If you like Alice Cooper, you're going to like this album. And that's what he said, and that's what I'm going to say. It's true. If you like Alice Cooper, if you like that style of music, you'll probably really like this album. I personally do like Alice Cooper and do like this album quite a bit. It has a lot of redeeming qualities, but as he said, he was not trying to experiment, not trying to gain any new audience. He was just writing an album. There's no concept, even though I do feel there's a couple subliminal, smaller concepts, but it's not a concept album. It's just an album of rock songs that he wanted to release, and that's what, I mean, it really is. It does not, I don't see much that's going to bring in new audiences. So that, just to start off this review, if you're not a fan of Alice Cooper, you probably won't like this one either. But if you do like Alice Cooper, let's get to the real review. This album does not press the envelope for anything. It is not pushing any boundaries. It's not groundbreaking. I'm fully aware of that. There is nothing groundbreaking or revolutionary about this album. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a solid rock album. And that's what this is. I mean, it's not a solid rock album in the sense of like 80s hair metal. Like, it actually has some depth and like some meaning behind it and some punch, but it's not, it's nothing new. It's nothing that's going to break the mold. This will not be probably one of Alice Cooper's remembered albums in the future. It's not going to be a highlight in his career. But even with that, when I say that, it doesn't mean it's bad. It's a very, very good album, and I actually really enjoyed it. But it is not pressing the envelope. It's not getting anything new. It is diverse musically. I don't really think that it sticks to a mold. It's not stuck. It's pretty everywhere. I mean, there's songs with like horns on them, two songs with just a hard guitar and punchy drums. So it is diverse, but not groundbreaking. Nothing like that. On this album, a lot of the drumming is done by Larry Mullins Jr. from U2, so it's very stable, steady, good drums. I mean, he is a very good drummer, and the drums are a big point in this whole album. They really stand out. Listening through it, I was writing down notes. I noticed a lot of things. I'd go, nice drums, something like that, some kind of comment on the drums, and it's just because Larry Mullins is a very skilled technician in drums, and I think he's actually a very good drummer, so you know the drums are going to be pretty good on this album. Besides that, there's Roger Glover from Deep Purple. He is featured on Paranormal, as well as Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. He is featured on one song as well. So there's a couple different features, but no, it's not riddled with features, but I do appreciate the features, and they actually add a lot of depth to the songs that they're in. Paranormal is the song that Roger Glover's in, and it is a very atmospheric, creepy shock rock. That sound that Alice Cooper has, is creepy, dark feel. It really is in this song. It really fits, and it's honestly one of the stronger tracks. It was released as a single, and I really, really enjoy this track. From the lyrics, while being able to be interpreted just as something creepy, they actually do have meaning, and the guitar solo in this song is really good. I really enjoy this track. And then Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top was featured in Fallen in Love, and it's a definite southern rock sound. It's the ZZ Top sound. The guitars sound very ZZ Top. It's a decent track. It's definitely not my favorite on the album, but it does sound very fitting for a ZZ Top album. So it was a proper feature. They had already wrote the song before they called in Billy Gibbons, so I think the feature really fits the song very well, actually. Two tracks I just don't feel are as good are Rats and Dead Flies, ironically both the like animal, I know, insects, flies, whatever. But it's, those are very skippable tracks. Not my favorite. They're definitely my least favorite on the album, except for one, which would be a Private Public Breakdown. Something about that riff that is in there, it grates against me. It's not something that I really enjoy. It's a hard listen for me. I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong, but the riff just is so hard for me to listen to that those three are the ones I definitely will skip on repeated listens. But Yeah, it's not, those are the only three that I can really say are bad. The rest are definitely worth a listen. And even then, not that flies and rats are bad, or dead flies and rats are bad, it's just, I don't care about them. I can't remember them. They don't have a very good hook. They're forgettable in general. Some of these songs just build a great atmosphere. Songs like Paranormal, Paranoiac Personality, Dynamite Road, Fireball, all of those really give you like a sense of urgency. Well, not necessarily urgency. Fireball and Dynamite Road actually do, but they just build up an atmosphere, whatever they're trying to build. Paranoiac Personality and Paranormal both are very good about having a kind of creepy, like, they make you kind of paranoid themselves. And then Fireball and Dynamite Road both are very urgent, and they just have a great atmosphere. Those four songs are very good at building up that atmosphere, and I really, really enjoy that part of it. That's something that Alice Cooper's always been pretty good at, and it does not change in this album at all. One track from the original lineup of songs is Holy Water, and that song really stands out to me from the blaring horns and just the great soaring vocals from Alice Cooper. It's honestly probably one of my favorite tracks. It's not very metal or hard rock as some of his music is, but it's very good, and I really, really enjoy those horns. It really adds some diversity in the album. If you ever felt like it would just get stale with some guitars and stuff, that song definitely breaks it up for you and really adds a new layer. It's definitely my favorite track, besides maybe Paranoiac Personality and Paranormal. All three of those are definitely my favorite. Those three would be the one that I'd check out from the original part of this album. So now I say the original part of this album because the rest of the album, there are a couple live songs that he recorded that go on this, and then he also has two songs with his original Alice Cooper band, Genuine American Girl and You and All Your Friends. And those two tracks, I'm going to talk about those first. You can just hear Alice Cooper really is happy. Like, it's just in his vocals. You can hear a different sound. The same producer, Bob Ezrin, who's been with Alice Cooper for a long time, produces all of this album, and that doesn't really make... Like, the production is good throughout the whole time, but just in the last two songs that he's doing with his band, you can hear the happiness, the joyfulness, and just how well the band meshes together, especially in Genuine American Girl. I definitely prefer that one. It's a very, very fun track, and you just can hear how the band meshes really well together. Not that the band doesn't mesh well in the earlier tracks, and his newer band and him, but it's just everyone... You can just tell there's the chemistry there in the last two tracks. But throughout this whole album, you just hear a slight, a little bit of a concept album. Like I said, I don't really think it is a concept album, but you hear a couple songs that kind of seem to talk about fame and being in the spotlight and that kind of thing. But it's not very many. It's just a couple songs that seem to focus on that. You could hear it in Paranoiac Personality and Rats, especially. So I don't know if that was any kind of concept. He said that he's not trying to do a concept album, but it definitely at least seemed like that to me. But it's nothing that stands out, so if you don't like concept albums for whatever reason, it's not something that doesn't stand out, but if you do, then there's a little something that you could probably explore and find even more than those two songs. There definitely are. Just those two are the ones that really stand out, that you can see where I'm coming from without having to go into much explanation. And then the live songs are all just very good live recordings. The production is actually pretty good. The roar of the crowd just gives it that kind of energy because all these songs that he uses are pretty intense, so it just adds that little bit of intensity to it. On Billion Dollar Babies, honestly, it's quite different than the studio recording, and I'm inclined to say I like this one better. I know a lot of Alice Cooper fans would probably disagree with that, but I'm not someone who grew up listening to Billion Dollar Babies very much. I've heard it once or twice, but it's not something I was attached to. So hearing this one, I really enjoyed it. It adds a lot of intensity to the song, and I just enjoyed it. Feed My Frankenstein is one of the really only tracks on this album where you hear Alice Cooper's age coming in. Usually he sounds great. For his age, his grit in his voice because of maturity actually adds some more power to some of these songs, and I actually enjoy his age. But on Feed My Frankenstein, you can tell he's a little restrained, either because of high vocals or just it didn't work out quite as well. His voice didn't want to do what he was doing in the song. So Feed My Frankenstein was a little weaker, but overall the live recordings are pretty good. Not too much to say about them, just that's what I have to say. There's a lot of extra guitar jam sessions in the song, a lot more just extra guitars added to make the songs longer, and it's nice to hear. I enjoy all of them. I can't, besides Feed My Frankenstein, they're all definitely great tracks, and there's not really anything to complain about. It's just some live songs, and they're pretty good live recordings. So now I come to a hard part, because he didn't break any mold, he didn't press the envelope, he really stuck with something safe and ran with it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just, there's nothing, besides a couple songs, this is not a standout album in his discography. I do really like both the singles, Paranormal and Paranoiac Personality, as well as Holy Water, but most of these songs do not stand out a ton, so it's not something that is his best work, but it's definitely good. It's just some good, fun rock songs, so I can't really dock it too much. I just can't give it too much praise. So, like I said, having a little hard time trying to find somewhere to make it fit, and I think I'm gonna have to go with a 7. It could be a 7.5 on some days. It's kind of in there, but I'm going with a 7 out of 10. That's gonna be my rating. Thank you guys so much for watching. I keep saying how I'm going to get to some of my suggestions. I am working on a new suggestion now. Besides an upcoming album that I may want to talk about, I don't have much lined up right now, so I am wanting to get to one of my songs, or one of my review suggestions. So I am going to try to get to that soon, but please leave me any suggestions, any way that I can improve my quality for you guys. I love making these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.